Video mostly uses scans from a very good fan translation of the manga, cross-referenced with my physical Viz copies. It may not be the most polished, but I guarantee you that by the end you will view Dragon Ball in new and exciting ways. You may even be convinced that Ki and Nen are nearly the same thing. Ki is left vague and ambiguous for the reader, while Nen is not. Now, let's delve into the world of Ki, Genki, or life energy, Yuki, or courage, Shoki, or mental clarity, the three main pieces and fundamentals of Ki. So you can see there's a lot to it when it breaks down. We are first introduced to manifesting Ki, where Master Roshi puts out the fire on Fire Mountain. Yamcha refers to it as concentrating the energy in the body, and I've seen other translations call it latent energy, which is really what is going on. So, for all intents and purposes, the use of Ki in the form of Kamehameha is just gathering stored energy in the body that normally cannot be released without incredible concentration. Sometime after, Goku and Krillin become students of Master Roshi and partake in their iconic training, which mostly consists of endurance, conditioning, and strength and speed tests, from delivering milk to what partly inspired this video. Then we move ahead to the World Martial Arts Tournament, and we see a scene where all of this plus a lot more takes place in a single instant. And we also end up seeing the use of the Kamehameha to fly back in the ring, proving that normally they have to exert force opposite so that they don't get shot back. There's a beam battle between Master Roshi and Goku. It proves that they're near equals. So Master Roshi starts manifesting lightning from his ki. After Goku becomes an Ozaru, Master Roshi destroys the moon to transform him back. Later on, we learn something about the Kamehameha's properties where it bounces off of this being. Are these standard ki properties? Does it naturally want to be a ball, so making something like the Kienzon is difficult? That would explain why cuts weren't normally used in OG Dragon Ball from energy attacks. See Goku teaching someone a lesson about how to throw a proper punch. This might just be a gag. There could actually be some technique that he's using. And then we also see a special technique from General Silver when he's able to paralyze people just by looking. The point blank shot from a rifle is implied to be able to hurt Goku. That might not be true though. Later, Goku is tied up and is unable to escape. And finally, a Dragon Ball is able to protect Goku from a Doden Ray. So either the ball is magically durable, which it could be possible because it's linked to Kami. So it might be that you have to be stronger than Kami to destroy a Dragon Ball. When training with Korin, Korin implies that Goku's afterimage technique is better than Roshi's, but this also implies that Roshi the water from a different means. Later, we see Goku go up against the Dodenrai again, and this time he cups his hands in a similar fashion to the Kamehameha to reverse it. Does this help channel or funnel ki? Does it make it easier to control? Is it simply because of the shape? And why did he assume this would work? Later on, we get insight into Goku's character where he decides to not cheat and take the water while Korin is sleeping. This shows character of mental and spiritual fortitude. Because we find out the water is made up, he get nothing out of cheating. Anyways, later, when he fights the Devil Man, we see more of his character of this character trait helping Goku. Because there is no evil or badness in him. There is no evil in him to be taken advantage of. Grandpa Gohan uses the Kamehameha. Not only can the dead be brought back to life, but they can visit the physical world and interact with it like normal. Goku uses a Kamehameha he calls Light. on a robot. He has also referred to Kamehamehas as being heavy in the past. Tien doesn't cancel a Kamehameha wave, but reflects it with what appears to be mere concentration. Chaozu demonstrates the Dodenrei's greatest strength of the Kamehameha, and that's that it can be spammed. He also shows off some form of telekinesis where he gives Krillin a stomach ache. We then see the first solar flare, and Tien goes to use a Kamehameha, which Jackie deflects in a similar way as Goku did the Dodenrai. Goku and Krillin are going to fight, and when Krillin is going to use a Kamehameha, Goku says that if he does this, he's just going to be wasting stamina. And we know that stamina and ki are linked. So is stamina really just Genki? Later, we see Goku is moving so fast that he can't be seen by even Master Roshi. It's clear that this is pure speed and that the after image is perhaps using ki to make a mirage of yourself. We see that ki can physically change the body, but it likely consumes a lot of energy, hence why we don't see it much. Would be nice if Tien created a forearm fighting style that was effective later in the series. Goku then mimics this technique by simply moving his arms very fast. Still, a dedicated fighting style around Tien's techniques would be nice. Krillin points out that Tien's hands are glowing. This is more significant when you consider that Ki was originally supposed to be invisible. It still might be, and we only see a depiction of it as the reader so we can visualize what's going on. The Tri-Beam seems to be like a combination of the Dodenrai and Kamehameha, and the Special Beam Cannon is like Piccolo's version of this highly concentrated energy. The Tri-Beam is the first clear example of strong area control. It's the first time seeing such concentration of energy. It's implied to be stronger than the Moonbuster. The Mafuba is an indication that this technique might completely require Genki, and that's why it kills people, and that it will be a relation with the Tri-Beam when Tien kills himself trying to destroy Nappa. Piccolo's baby looks dragon-like. After we find out that he's Namekian, we go to wonder why his children look this way. Is it because he was incomplete? Did he have vague memories of Shenlong? Or later we see Goku use the power pole and shoot up and use a Kamehameha that is aimed down. Since he doesn't have to brace himself against it, and the magic staff is applying opposite force, is this Kamehameha stronger because of momentum? We then see that Piccolo confuses the Kamehameha with the Mafuba. Did Master Roshi come up with the Kamehameha by utilizing the properties of the Mafuba but leaving out tapping into Genki? We then get the biggest charge up yet, and Goku barely survives it. Master Roshi fails at controlling the Mafuba. Given what we've seen from Tien, it makes sense that he'd be the next best bet at controlling it since he can use the Tri-Beam. It's also worth noting that Ki, perhaps Genki, may not want to be controlled as Tien's failed attempt is only practice and there's no one resisting it. There is an implication that Genki is tied to age or that it takes more energy to use in an old body. Get the most evil act we've ever seen when King Piccolo destroys a city just to make a point through fear. He then creates Drum, and Drum easily dispatches of Tien. Drum may be the strongest child since he was made from a youthful Piccolo. The Goku then bests this amped Piccolo easily. Did Piccolo use too much stamina making Drum? Piccolo might be saying that he need to tag into Genki to use his full power, and that's why it would shorten his lifespan, similar to the Tri-Beam. So is the Tri-Beam regular ki, or does it use Genki? Is there a link with them? Do Namekians have different levels of certain part aspects of the Trinity of ki? Is the Kamehameha easier to control because it doesn't use much Genki? And that's why Goku is able to manipulate and maneuver it around obstacles. I beams are too fast to properly defend against, but not very strong, so Piccolo targets Goku's knees, managing to hit one. Goku still can't use flight, making a bad knee all the more devastating for him in a battle. Goku waits until Piccolo's concentrating his strongest attack again and goes to catch him off guard. It's Goku before Resurrection F. We'll take advantage of openings instead of being the one to be left open. Blown Rocket Goku deals similar damage to his arm as the I beams did to his knee. And then we get the first significant usage of a ki infused punch. The implication is that this move is as strong as his Uzaru form, but controlled. Piccolo thinks he can block it, but there's too much momentum here because of Goku using the Kamehameha to propel him. Goku goes right through Piccolo, and Piccolo, as a last resort, spits up an egg. Despite having a hole in his chest, ki gathering with his own cells must form around his throat or wherever he wants to. He potentially could be gathering energy from anywhere in his body. Later, we see that Goku still has a lot of training to do, and it is said twice that he needs to be faster than lightning. And given events surrounding this, it would make sense that this would be the tier he would be in at right now. To be faster than lightning, Mr. Popo tells him that you need to stop thinking and clear your soul. It's not enough to just not think, you need to clear your soul as well. Goku is defeated by a flick from Kami. Kami explains that Piccolo is the evil that was in his heart expelled. The fact that some beings can purge themselves that way hints at a greater world of Ki. Popo repairs Shenlong, and Kami brings it back to life with a focused beam of Ki. Later, we are reunited with Goku at the World Martial Arts Tournament. After years of training, we first see a demonstration of his speed and understanding of pressure points, indicating studying the body was part of his training. Later, Tien and Tao Pai Pai will fight. With his dignity as a martial artist lost, Tao Pai Pai is easily defeated by Tien. It's worth noting that this Dodenrai is large, however, has it lost its true essence, and that combined lack of dignity made it easier to defeat, similar to how Ginyu will later not be able to use Goku's ki properly. Piccolo later uses precision I beams to destroy Krillin's blast. This is the first time seeing a clash of blasts that weren't the same type, like a Kamehameha versus a Kamehameha. The I beams are quicker than repelling blasts and less predictable. You can use them in mid fight moves instead of having to focus on a karate shout. There's a calmness to Piccolo's evil aura. This is the first time seeing something like that. Auras usually are out of control and almost menacing looking. We see a new form of body manipulation when Piccolo stretches his arm. Piccolo moves faster than Krillin's point blank ki blast and gets behind him. Kami tells Yamcha that he needs to focus on the details of movement, and this demonstrates why I beams are so useful because they're very unpredictable. They can be used instantly and aimed rather easily, thus never jumping uselessly. Wasn't necessarily the lesson that Kami was teaching, but we can find lessons. The ki gathered to form the spirit ball looks ominous. Is this due to Yamcha's reasoning for gathering ki? He's also coming off as arrogant since he was just getting completely schooled by Kami. Goku physically hits Tien's blast back, showing the difference in their energy levels. He doesn't even have to protect himself from it by cupping his hands and channeling the energy with it. Of course, that's assuming that cupping the hands is anything more than a placebo. Then see potential ki being used during a lockup. As far as I can tell, this is the first time we've seen something like this. Seems unlikely that those are like striking marks, but could be. The importance of speed is then reiterated and will be again constantly. Goku was pulling around extra weight more than his own body weight, making the potential use of ki over 2 times what would normally be needed to move around. This is why weighted training works even when characters are destroying planets. Multiform works best with Tien because of his extra eye. It gives an amp others wouldn't get. It also gets him access to the multi-eye beam. This was somewhat of a mind game. Tien was hoping to be overwhelming Goku and have him make poor decisions. It's implied that even this young Piccolo would get captured by the Mafuba if not reversed. Perhaps the evil containment wave wasn't the best name for the ability as it captures Kami. Its creator likely named it for its intended purpose and not because of what it actually does. Goku's Super Kamehameha is implied to be strong enough to kill Piccolo. However, when used later, Piccolo survives this moon level attack. We really can't know until you try. Piccolo uses anger at his own fear to gather energy. If this is wise or not is ambiguous. Piccolo is likely trying to intimidate Goku. However, the form may increase mass, thus if the punches hit, they would be stronger due to momentum. Goku and Piccolo are surviving each other's best techniques without using up much stamina, really bringing into question how durable they are compared to how much ki they can release at once in a beam. Then we see Goku and Piccolo moving around so fast that even Kami can't track him. And they did this for more than just a single instant. They were doing this for multiple seconds at a time. To stay invisible for extended periods of time to someone's perception who can dodge lightning would mean Piccolo and Goku are relativistic, which is consistent with Raditz' feat that will be coming up very soon. It shows off in some intelligent battle. Piccolo then uses a basic attack but with high level technique and utilization. Regeneration looks exhausting. Piccolo's aura is no longer calm. Goku tanks a blast that is concentrated in a small area and may be capable of destroying the moon. However, Piccolo may be weakened a lot due to the stamina needed to regenerate, so we can't be sure that it is a moon level attack anymore. We are at the point where a simple gut punch is damaging. Piccolo flies up and shoots a blast down. He intends to crush Goku against the ground. His blast going down like that would have added momentum as well. And then finally, we get to the Saiyan Saga. And we see first Piccolo's power level of about 322 with the weighted clothes. And then he goes and attacks Raditz. His armor isn't even scratched. Then Raditz goes and confronts Goku, and it's been a long time since the Dread Aura has come from Goku. Raditz then defeats Krillin with a simple tail slap. Instead of needing to overcome fear from someone else's death, Goku is the one to die. Later, instead of using his death to motivate them, the group is still betting on Goku to save them. Raditz thinks his scouter is wrong when it is reading Gohan's power level. However, wouldn't some elite Saiyans be born with comparable power levels to Gohan's amp? Goku and Piccolo take off their weighted clothes and their power levels increase. Their power level seems to increase by about 25%, maybe 20%. We get this blast from Raditz. Are we to assume that each of these blasts is around 1200 or 600 or something else because Raditz doesn't have great ki control? It's worth noting that we will start seeing this aura constantly from people charging up. Raditz implies that normally blasts are generally weaker than the overall fighter. Is the special beam cannon's higher power level only due to the shape and concentration? He then comments on the special beam cannon's power level constantly rising. Is the power level only due to the shape and concentration, or does the Namekian ki allow him to dig deeper somehow? 924 plus power level Kamehameha is enough to stun Raditz's hand. Its dodge is an attack far stronger than the moon busting attack earlier, and is implied to be relatively fast. This feat should at least be relativistic, but easily could be light speed given that it should be faster than the blast that destroyed the moon. For me, this is enough. You can do the calcs if you want, but I'm more likely to resolve linear equation canon without thinking of a single matchup. This is also the first indication that Saiyan armor is around moon level. Gohan then has a 1307 blunt attack his that cracks Raditz's armor, but the special beam cannon is enough to pierce the armor and both Raditz and Goku. It's worth noting that 100 million years is not a long time to this ogre. Without knowing or having any training, Gohan blows up a mountain. At a certain power level, are you able to just will destructive ki into being? when you are being threatened at least. Inconsequential power levels are then given. Besides, they show the gap between their training and Goku's. Gohan's training has resulted in him being able to hunt a dinosaur and jump insanely high. We can get a rough range of the dino's power level. It'd definitely be far below Roshi, but above the untrained Gohan. It's likely weaker than the start of series Kid Goku, though. This lesson about sensing opponents harkens back to Goku's training with Mr. Popo, but this may be going a step further. Piccolo isn't talking about feeling vibrations, but sensing ki to locate people. They will locate each other in this arc by feeling their ki, and we know instantaneous movement requires it. Goku makes it to the end of Snake Way seemingly without rest. Once he knows the goal is there, he instantly recovers. Is it because he's dead, or does he just have so much stamina now that resting for a second will bring him back up to at least normal human standards? Goku then tells King Kai that he wants food. Is this like a Pavlov thing? Because he ran without rest? We then find out that King Kai didn't master the Kaioken. Was it because he didn't need to? Without the need, he can't master it, or maybe it's because he's kind of fat. King Kai really amps up Goku by telling him that to master the Kaioken and the Genki Dama, he has to be the greatest fighter in the universe. We then see Genki for the first time. It's noticeably different than any form of ki we've seen up until now. Nappa then uses an attack that instantly destroys what looks like to be a continental-sized city. Nappa and Vegeta then say it's so easy to fly here, and it's implied that Earth's gravity is far below the average planets. And that's maybe why humans are generally weak but can learn other aspects of ki more easily, such as sensing it and flight. Despite all Vegeta's experiences on other planets, he still considers Namekian abilities to be magician-like. Even more interesting, there are others on Earth who use magic. Perhaps it's generally used by physically weaker races. That'd be in line with Babidi later. Piccolo is surprised that Vegeta can destroy a Cyberman so easily. We can compare this to him having a stun and then use an entire Multi Blast to kill one. We also see that Yamcha's Kamehameha is weaker than 1200 as it cannot take out a Cyberman by itself. The Cyberman is able to detonate and kill Yamcha, so they're probably about equal. Between this attack by Krillin and the special beam cannon, we're getting a lot of insight into how the properties of ki can be manipulated to produce different results. Furthermore, Krillin had enough ki to destroy 4 Cybermen and attack Nappa and Vegeta. If he were able to put all that ki into one attack, he may have killed Nappa, and we get confirmation of this later when he utilizes the Kienzon. However, Krillin will get at least a temporary mental nerf here. Nappa gives us the first appearance of a stable full body charge and with lightning around him to boot. This is a milestone, and Goku and Vegeta will beat it about 5 times over. This is also the first appearance of a punch enhanced visibly by ki. Nappa then demonstrates his superior control by waving his hand and creating an area of vast depth. This is especially impressive when you consider how much Tien had to concentrate to do something similar, and Tien was like taking a shot at his shooting range while Nappa is reacting in the heat of the moment and moving his arm to aim it as well. Chaozu's self-destruct should have hurt Nappa given what we've seen from the Cybermen, but this just shows how large the gap is between them and Nappa compared to Raditz. It's potentially not even moon level as it didn't damage Nappa's armor, but I can give him the benefit of the doubt and say Nappa's aura protected him. But I can give him the benefit of the doubt and say that Nappa's aura protected him. Though with his inability to sense ki, this must mean he's always a bit amped and wasting energy. Even if it weren't for this fear debuff, given what we see next. Then Krillin and Piccolo put into motion a plan to get Gohan to blast Nappa. But even with this fear debuff, it's unlikely that Gohan would have been able to hurt Piccolo given what we see with Tien's Tri-Beam. We don't even have confirmation yet that Gohan has killed a dinosaur, let alone being able to injure someone like Nappa. Although most of Goku feeling great is from eating a senzu bean, it's worth noting that he is going home. I also can't imagine the mental fatigue of needing to run in 2 days what took 6 months previously. Goku must have some fortitude. He may have had the hardest run in history considering the other power levels when they go to see King Kai's planet. We then get the implication that explosion is faster than Krillin can fly, since he uses it to get it out of the way. It's easy to forget that they are slower than their fastest blast. We get the confirmation that Krillin can kill Nappa if given the opportunity. The difference between hard work and born superiority are starting to show. Krillin isn't even given the chance to lament his failures and show his fear. This attack by Nappa is implied to be incredibly quick. Piccolo takes the chance to hit an off guard Nappa, and it does finally do some real damage. Once Goku starts arriving, we see this panel of Vegeta shocked with lightning around him. We'll never see shock represented this way again, but no villain is ever in a position like this besides Vegeta, being overwhelmingly stronger but not sure if they can win. Piccolo overcomes his fear and takes an attack for Gohan. Vegeta and Nappa are shocked by the increase in Gohan's power level. However, it's only 2,800, so we pretty much get confirmation that he likely would not have been able to kill Nappa, although he might have hurt him. Goku then arrives, and we see this menacing aura around him. His power level is over 8,000, and Nappa, shocked and sloppy, rushes in, making his defeat that much quicker and certain. Goku gets inside Nappa's head. He tries his go-to quick shot but fails. Goku is able to just shout it away with a Kia. Nappa resorts to using his continental attack as a mere distraction, then tries his best technique, his mouth blast, but Goku is able to deflect it with the turtle school posture. Vegeta implies that Goku may have better reaction speed than even him. This could be true in certain situations as Vegeta can't sense ki. We find out that Goku actually managed to fire off a Kamehameha in that instant, so it was Goku's best combat ready technique against Nappa. Goku is being honest here. To defeat Nappa cleanly, he would have to get into his head. Without that, it may actually take a long time. Although this is assuming he isn't hiding something, which we know he is. After Nappa threatens Gohan and Krillin, Goku reveals what he has been hiding, the Kaioken, and paralyzes Nappa. Vegeta was able to see the movements, but he can't comprehend how these techniques are possible. A whole new world is slowly opening up before his eyes. Goku's explanation might be implying that the true growth is exponential since you don't just double your ki, but double the body's abilities, which do get worked on individually. Goku could be referencing how when moving at extremely high speeds it adds mass to your punches. This would make sense as now he should be approaching light speed. Goku doesn't have the luxury of being the smarter fighter when it comes to Vegeta. He'd like to use the Kaioken only after observing his opponent, as it does threaten his life to use it. He's not able to fight the way he wants to, using it as a finishing move. In reality, he simply can't compete against Vegeta without the Kaioken. Goku gives Vegeta what he wanted. In response, Vegeta creates a literal storm out of anger from being hit. Goku is mentally and spiritually amping himself with a mix of emotions here to prepare himself for the Kaioken times 3. He launches himself with such force that it breaks the plateau he was standing on. Vegeta receives all the force on the cheek. Vegeta is so blinded by the audacity that a low-class warrior temporarily surpassed his raw stats that he stops thinking critically and fails to realize that if he just paced out the fight, he'd likely win. Or perhaps he's completely aware of that, but it doesn't matter to him. His pride has him wanting to take everything away from Goku. Goku meets this planet destroying blast head on with a Kaioken times 3 and defeats it with a times 4. Vegeta rolls off the attack. It may have not exploded because of the concentrated. It's also more evidence that The armor is at least moon level, not only because it survives, but it'd be useless otherwise, since they can be expected to be used against people with at least a 1200 power level. They both think they've lost unless they use their final trump card. For Vegeta, this loss is mostly an invisible one, while Goku's body might actually break if he moves at high speeds for much longer. So Vegeta creates an artificial moon and turns into an Ozaru. Goku is so outmatched now that he has to use the Kaioken just to evade attacks by Vegeta. There's no time to strategize or attack, nor is his body in any condition to do so. It's worth noting that the 10 times increase gives Goku something to aim for, which he accomplishes by training at 100 times gravity. 1 seconds must feel like absolute hell for a being who can move at or around light speed. As I believe they are still bound by physics, it must also be quite the task to switch your processing and perception. What I mean is, I think they talk in real time, but furthermore, I think they need to push against their forward momentum when missing a target or they fly off the earth, meaning each strike potentially takes 2 times the expected ki, if not more, because of all the other angles working against them. It could be incredibly hard to fly in Dragon Ball, and they really rely on propulsion and momentum to deal damage. Anyhow, Goku uses the solar flare and flees to hide and gather energy for the Genki Dama. Vegeta manages to locate Goku's general area and disrupt his concentration. Despite the power difference, Vegeta's eye is still damaged by a quick, regular blast. Goku is caught and tortured. Yajirobe runs into hiding and turns back to torturing Goku. Gohan rage boosts and is able to get the best of Vegeta for a second. While Gohan distracts Vegeta, Goku relays the Genki Dama to Krillin. It's worth noting that it is blue when the Kamehameha is generally colored yellow in the manga. Krillin misses the attack and Gohan has to bounce it back. Does the Genki Dama target Evil Ki or was it Goku that did it? This makes some sense since they are able to pass ki off to each other. Hit causes a similar effect as to when Vegeta was shocked by Goku's power level reading. Vegeta releases an explosive wave similar to Piccolo's and is disappointed by the results. They are all so beat up now that he assumed such a weak blast would be enough, but it was even weaker than he anticipated. Yajirobe slices through Vegeta's armor. Since Vegeta has almost no ki left, this should be the last piece of evidence needed to prove Saiyan armor is around moon level, since Yajirobe would logically be around the same level without his sword. Yajirobe is still ultimately a coward at heart, and Vegeta easily teaches him a lesson. After Gohan transforms and nearly kills Vegeta, Krillin is about to finish the job when Goku shows off his newly acquired telepathy. Goku's mental fortitude and exposure to it from King Kai must have given him the ability. Goku pleads with Krillin to spare Vegeta's life because he wants to fight him again. And now on their way to Namek, Krillin and Gohan show off something new as they are forced to train the only way they have room to, image training. In the time it took Vegeta to recover, he has learned how to sense ki. Was this the true secret to his Zenkai boost? On Namek, Vegeta runs into the cowardly Kiwi, who once was Vegeta's equal. He uses underhanded tactics brought about by his fear, a contrast to what we'll see from Vegeta later. He turns his back and runs, and Vegeta easily catches him. Vegeta treats him like Piccolo did a Cyberman, killing the off guard coward with a 2-hit attack. Run away like that is reminiscent of Kami's advice to Yamcha about wasted movements. Meanwhile, an elder Namekian demonstrates how easily caught off guard relying on scatters makes one. Frieza returns the lesson by taking away something much more valuable to the Namekian. Gohan with a rage boost is able to surprise Dodoria. It's unlikely that he would be able to defeat even just Dodoria, but with Krillin's help, it just might be possible. Unfortunately for them, it's not just Dodoria and they are forced to run. Goku, true to his nature, trains to beat himself while Vegeta takes a slight edge over Zarbon. Zarbon transforms and Vegeta is left in shock. Zarbon proceeds to absolutely dismantle and humiliate Vegeta. Frieza has Zarbon search to retrieve Vegeta to get the information out of him. Frieza then acknowledges to himself both the Zenkai boost and the Super Saiyan legend. Meanwhile, Guru reads both Krillin's mind and spirit, then awakens his potential. As potential, the ability to draw out more latent power. Is dormant power not having the training or know how to access it? Or is it something to do with accessing Genki or one of the other aspects of Ki? Later, Zarbon confronts Vegeta, and Vegeta knows that they are too close in power for him to easily defeat him. So he waits for Zarbon to rush in. Zarbon is acting hasty because he is under Frieza's command to capture Vegeta. Vegeta predicts the attack, dodges it, and grabs sand. Vegeta then throws the sand in Zarbon's eyes, and unable to sense Ki, he is essentially completely blind for a moment. Vegeta gets a devastating attack off on him, and then a combination of flurries that manage to destroy the integrity of Zarbon's armor. Then, when he rushes in, Vegeta provokes him again. Then, rushing in like that, his armor damaged. One punch and a blast kills Zarbon. A quick glimpse back into Goku's training reveals he's now up to 100 times gravity training. Shortly after, Vegeta mistakes Gohan's new power for that of Goku's. Vegeta doesn't think twice about Goku being here, but we're quickly juxtaposed by his fear at the arrival of the Ginyu Force. Carter is faster than Vegeta can throw a ball. This is like a batter going from first base to third before the ball is even hit. Carter comes off as if he's treating Vegeta like a child, clearly joking about being the fastest in the universe and mocking him while doing so. In any case, Goldo will be the one to fight Gohan and Krillin first. It's worth noting that we can now clearly see their auras when they power up, and they are also noticeably different than when Nappa powered up. Fortunately for them, Goldo has the strongest telekinesis we've seen yet. Vegeta wasn't caught in the time freeze, which must be because Goldo needs to see them with the two eyes on the side of his head. Not being caught in it, Vegeta takes advantage and easily kills Goldo. Vegeta then fights Recoome, and a 30,000 power level is enough to stun and damage him when Recoome is not defending himself properly. Recoome is doing this intentionally, though. What's really interesting here is how Vegeta is bouncing off of Recoome's body to maintain some momentum during his combo. He finishes the combo with a precursor to the final flash, followed by a strong-looking volley. Although Recoome plays it off as he's not hurt at all, I do think that's an exaggeration. However, the fact is that he allowed it to happen, and that may be even more demoralizing than breaking out of the combo. Like Nappa, one of Recoome's strongest attacks is a blast from the mouth. Is this a reference to how in martial arts, chi, breathing, and the stomach are strongly linked? Recoome goes on to kick Gohan in the neck. Although Gohan isn't dead, a broken neck still means zero ki. Is this something to do with consciousness or perhaps energy in the spine? Despite his son nearly being killed, Goku seems oddly calm and more concerned with Vegeta. This might be the first time seeing Goku calm and serious as an adult. He arrives versus Nappa in a rush to a graveyard. Here, everyone is now okay, and he's not instantly fighting. Here, everyone is now okay aside from Vegeta, and he's not rushing into a fight. He may also be deciding if Vegeta is a friend or a foe. Goku is now at a place where he can sense what he can do with Ki. Has he become one with the Ki around him? Is this due to the mental and spiritual fortitude needed to train at 100 times gravity? The two invisible aspects propping up the purpose of the training of the body. Recoome prepares his real strongest attack that we never really see. There's an implication here that Goku could mess up as Vegeta understands how difficult a Kaioken must be to utilize. However, Goku easily overcomes Raccoon and acts as if it was super easy, but we'll never really know the truth of just how taxing the Kaioken is with each usage. Goku then proceeds to educate Jace on keeping up the guard as well. Jace tries a powerful blast, but Goku easily deflects it and with great aim, launching it towards Berta. But that's not all. He also uses the distraction to get behind Berta without him noticing. I guess Berta was being serious when he told Vegeta he's the fastest. It's worth noting that we don't know Berta's power level compared to Ginyu, and it is possible that his speed is trained better than Ginyu's. It could also be an issue of reaction time. Goku implies that there's nuance to this as well. After Ginyu arrives on the scene, Jace provides a distraction and Ginyu is able to grab Goku. We need to respect that without the Kaioken, Ginyu is quite a bit stronger than Goku. He also has a warrior's pride, which may account for some of his tremendously abnormal power, as he releases Goku saying that he didn't want help from Jace. Meanwhile, with all this fighting and numbers being thrown around, we are introduced to Frieza's power level as he easily dismantles Nail. And then back to Ginyu and Goku. Overwhelmed by the readings from the Kaioken, utilizes what may be the strongest purely spiritual attack in all of Dragon Ball. Ginyu not only can't use the Kaioken, but his body is out of harmony with his spirit, showing Goku's training versus being naturally born strong. What's interesting here is that this is about the power level of Goku and Vegeta when they fought. Is this the maximum for a Saiyan's body that isn't in tune with all the parts of the Trinity? Jace is shown to be a coward as well. There seems to be the theme here that if you think you know the outcome of the fight before it happens, at best, you have false courage going into it. Vegeta easily kills Jace. Ginyu then tries to change bodies with Vegeta. I would like to give Ginyu some more praise here. Despite how Weasley it is, it does take a certain amount of courage to mortally wound yourself and then be okay with changing bodies with someone. Frieza thinks he deserves respect simply because he is evil and strong. Vegeta then fights him, and he is on the back foot, but the fact that he can keep up with Frieza at all pushes the tyrant to transform. It seems he doesn't even want to ever have to try. Gohan with another Zenkai and Rage boost manages to combo on Frieza. However, when the debris clears, he's literally only scuffed up, leaving Gohan and Vegeta shooken. Piccolo, after fusing with Nail, is able to fight on par with second form Frieza, even with his weighted clothes on. The moment Piccolo takes his weights off, Frieza transforms again because he really does not want to ever have to try. We literally do not see them fight once in second form when he doesn't have weighted clothes on. Frieza tortures Piccolo, and this, as expected, causes the little rage demon to go at it again. Will it work this time? Actually, Frieza seems scared of getting pinned against the ground, so if he didn't try here, he may have actually gotten hurt. Oh, now, when Frieza starts transforming into his fourth form, we see energy actually leaking out of him in a panel that shows something other than the fighter. This is the first time, if I recall correctly, that we see something like this. And the explosion is so large, might actually be something similar to like nuclear fission or fusion. So trying to stop it would be futile unless you're overwhelmingly stronger than Frieza. Vegeta shows how easily a man can become a boy. He is completely demoralized by Frieza. Both their fathers were easily murdered by Frieza, followed by the destruction of their home, a planet 10 times denser than Earth. After a plea from Vegeta, Frieza kills him. Goku was likely distracted by the talking, and he legitimately is taken aback by this act from Frieza. Goku and Frieza fight, and once Goku gets underwater, Goku hypothesizes that Frieza is like the other aliens and can't sense ki. He could also have the idea because of the way Frieza fights. Goku is right, and he is able to get a good hit on Frieza via distraction from two blasts sent from underwater. Frieza traps Goku in his ki, which explodes the moment it hits something other than him. Goku outruns the explosion after needing to fly against the momentum of said explosion. This is crazy to think about considering he's in a compromising angle and needs to move so fast that he doesn't trigger the explosion himself. On top of that, the energy is literally all around him. Might be wrong about this, so I'd love to read any explanation as to what is going on here, but I have to assume that in a way this feat must be light speed, because the only logical way I can see this being possible is by Goku outrunning the light the moment it changed form. Everything considered at this point, Frieza should be light speed and Goku as well. Frieza acknowledges Goku's strength, then says half his strength is enough to kill Goku. Given Frieza's personality, he's likely saying half his maximum power is enough to destroy Goku without even trying. With a gesture, he slices apart the ground. Not only is this planet likely denser than Earth, but unlike similar previous attacks, it seems to cut through the air rather than simply explode on contact. Goku is shocked by the power of this technique. He doesn't think he can win anymore. However, he pushes through the doubt and threats to dig deeper than he ever has before, bringing his body to 20 times its natural limit. Goku attacks with such ferocity that Frieza is essentially blitzed. He doesn't even track Goku. This might be because he can't sense ki, but his eyes still were not able to adjust fast enough in either case. With all this work, pushing his body further than ever and utilizing his one advantage, being able to sense ki, Goku only manages to make Frieza try a little bit to defend one hand. I think now is the time to mention that for Frieza to be able to fight at these speeds without being able to sense ki may mean that he's doing something like buffering attacks in a fighting game. If you aren't familiar, that's when you enter inputs before they will be registered by the game. With his Kaioken times 20 Kamehameha combo having failed, Goku prepares to use the Genki Dama. Frieza gets angry at what he perceives to be an insulting posture, and we see for the first time him use an enhanced physical strike against Goku. Goku thinks the energy of the solar system, whatever that really means, is enough to defeat Frieza. There's the implication because of how much Goku needs the energy of those other than himself, Krillin, Piccolo, and Gohan, that all living things have roughly the same amount of Genki, varying between individuals by age and relative life forms, and not their mastery of ki control. Frieza struggles, and although he is damaged, he survives the Genki Dama. The life force of this entire solar system wasn't enough to destroy Frieza. Piccolo is shot through the lung, saving Goku's life. Krillin is murdered, and then polarity through rage makes Goku dig deeper than ever before. Frieza must be killed. There is no other choice. Once Goku tanks a death beam, Frieza finally takes Goku seriously and decides that he needs to blow up the planet. The plan to revive Guru and thus the Namekian Dragon Balls is set into motion. Contrary to King Kai's worries, Gohan and Piccolo being in danger is keeping Goku's mind clear of relentless rage. Goku is so serious and confident that he utilizes the first silent Kamehameha. Considering Frieza's inability to sense ki, you'd think this gives Goku an advantage, but Frieza has a plan and a trick of his own. Frieza mimics the Kienzan, but adds his telekinesis to it. This may be the worst decision he has made considering he can't sense ki. Ultimately, Frieza is cut up by it, and I want to note that there is blood and he isn't instantly cauterized by it. After one last villainous act by Frieza, Goku, with a look of regret and pity, leaves Frieza for dead. Later, everyone is trying to revive Goku. However, we find out that he is still alive and does not want to return. And we are made aware that Frieza is still alive. 1 year later, as Frieza is about to arrive, we are treated to a reminder that Piccolo is still next level as others did not even notice him arrive. The fact that they noticed two power levels is kind of, however, they don't say it's as high as Frieza's. Anything high that is worth noting would be compared. There's still a giant gap between Vegeta and Piccolo compared to Frieza, so considering only Yamcha shows real fear, it's possible that King Cold is only around Vegeta's level, if not even weaker. The same we will soon learn as Trunks appears and quickly dispatches of Frieza's minions. He takes them out so quickly that no one has a chance to glimpse his true power, and he also demonstrates a level of skill with a sword that underestimation will soon cost Frieza and his father's life. One distracting blast and a rush in with his sword, and Frieza is finally no more. Trunks allows King Cold to examine his sword, then illustrates that the sword is nothing special by catching it. It's all skill. And that's the end of King Cold. Trunks tells the gang that Goku will arrive in a few hours, so they sit around, awkwardly. Then Goku arrives to a scene that confuses him more than he has been in a long time. Goku shows Trunks that he is legit by having a sword duel with his finger. Trunks then explains cyborgs will kill nearly everyone, but not before a virus takes Goku's life. What's most surprising to me isn't that Goku is taken out by a virus, that makes sense, but that a human scientist could create robots strong enough to kill a Goku that could even combat Vegeta when he first landed. Dro's technology has taken some insane leaps. 3 years pass and the time to confront the androids is here. Yamcha is the unlucky first one to encounter them. They view Yamcha as just a mere battery. He's not that kind of battery. Even Bulma wouldn't say that. Pure evil, these androids. Anyhow, the old man effectively kills Yamcha, but he will get a senzu in time. Goku initially does very well against 19, but before even a single ki blast, he's short of breath. The virus seems to be sapping his stamina. After 19 begins draining Goku of ki, Piccolo wants to move in to help, but Gero shoots him with eye beams. Piccolo has survived worse, but astute readers might still be tricked since Frieza did just knock him out with a similar attack. Vegeta arrives and Piccolo reveals that he was only playing dead. Vegeta steps up and quickly takes care of one set of problems. Then the entire clown gets blown to bits. Well, just about. Did becoming a Super Saiyan replace his pure evil attitude with dramatics, or was he always this way? Vegeta legit doesn't want to believe such a powerful foe is a coward. Aside from when he was hiding Dragon Balls, he never went out of his way to hide. Dro continues tactic and is acting like a raccoon digging for scraps from a dumpster. Trunks arrived and is shocked by the appearance of Android 19. This is not the monster he's been fighting. It makes one wonder if where ki is allocated in the universe matters to time, and if it was Trunks' ki being in a different timeline that started the cascade of different events. Trunks catches up with them, and they eventually find Jiro's hidden base where he's waking the true threats. They try to break the door down, and this has always bothered me because I have to assume that the energy is how androids can combat Goku, but just a slab of metal can take a shoulder from Tien. What are those things even good for then? Anyhow, Vegeta blows open the door. It's Vegeta versus 18 now. He initially does well, but rightfully points out that he can't be sure he's even damaging her. That may be worse than being purely outmatched because he doesn't know the mindset he should have. And we now have a reverse situation where since he can now sense ki, he's at a disadvantage because he might have been relying too much on that ability. Vegeta isn't even visibly winded or affected by the battle in any significant way, but once 18 locks in, she shows the difference between them. It's not just stamina. Vegeta is now damaged but not showing signs of stamina fatigue. His arrogance and pride would likely cost him in a fight against Goku. One well-timed kick is enough to completely shatter Vegeta's ability to fight. Trunks rushes in to help his father, but he leaves himself wide open, and one hit to the back from 17 knocks Trunks out. Piccolo soon follows suit. After their defeat to the cyborgs and seeing no other option, Piccolo goes to Kami with the desire to fuse back into one being. Meanwhile, Trunks, Gohan, and Bulma are unraveling the mystery of the duplicate time machine and a monster is terrorizing cities. It is only now that Kami agrees to forfeit his independence and consciousness. Now Piccolo has mastery of all three parts of the Key Trinity. Sadly for Piccolo, this means he has effectively plateaued. But until then, while he's the strongest, he has some missions to partake on. After another town disappears, Piccolo locates the being that will be known as Cell. Piccolo does well until he is surprised by a Kamehameha and caught by Cell during the distraction. Piccolo loses an arm and tricks the creature into revealing its identity and plans, after which others show up on the scene and Cell uses the solar flare to make a retreat. Afterwards, the cyborgs in 16 confront the residents of Kame House and Piccolo takes on 17. He's about even with him, however, one of his new ace techniques is easily repelled by 17's barrier. Note the electricity around the barrier. Cell, located in the group via Piccolo's energy signature, arrives, and Piccolo is paralyzed by fear when Cell powers up. Still, he helps 17 fight off Cell, but it takes 16, who seems to be near Cell's level, to really show any hope of overcoming the creature. 16 throws Cell into a hole and begins firing on him. However, Cell uses this opportunity to sneak around underground, then surprises 17 from behind and absorbs him, thus reaching his semi-perfect form. With a look of disgust, semi-perfect Cell tanks a punch to the face from 16, and it is clear he is in a whole new realm of power. He effectively one-shots 16, destroying part of his head. Tien manages to pin Cell down with repeated blasts from his newly evolved Tri-Beam, allowing 18 to escape with 16. Meanwhile, Trunks and Vegeta are emerging from the room of spirit and time. I do want to emphasize truncated training that focuses on the spirit to improve both the mind and body as well. Vegeta quickly confronts Cell before he locates 18. Vegeta powering up causes different reactions from Piccolo and Tien. Tien did just expel a ton of energy holding Cell down, so he may have a better idea than anyone how strong Cell might be. While Vegeta is powering up, Goku is giving Gohan confidence, telling him that his future self never trained in the room of spirit and time with him. He then begins to teach and train Gohan how to go Super Saiyan. Meanwhile, Vegeta finishes charging Ki, and he claims he's now Super Vegeta. Does he even really understand the next level of Super Saiyan? Trunks sure doesn't, but we'll see that in a bit. Vegeta toys around with Cell, who does some unsightly complaining about not being perfect. Till finally Vegeta's interest is so piqued that he agrees to allow Cell to absorb 18. Vegeta kind of had to after a taunt like that. Both understand him and Saiyans way too well. 18 gets captured by Cell, and I just want to point out the expression of childlike glee on Vegeta's face when he realizes Cell's ki is growing. He stands confident and satisfied, ready to have a thrilling battle. Vegeta and Cell go at it, and it is soon obvious that Vegeta has little chance, so he challenges Cell to take his strongest attack head on. Say what you will about Vegeta's tactical decision to let Cell become complete, but challenging Cell's courage was likely Vegeta's best hope. It's only fair after he allowed him to transform. It is worth noting that this final flash from Vegeta is likely both the strongest attack we've seen and the best demonstration of ki controls thus far. To make sure nothing went wrong is incredibly impressive of how minute of an angle it would have taken to destroy the Earth. Cell takes the blast head on, and he mocks Vegeta by pretending to be truly wounded. He then shows Vegeta his version of regeneration, which is far superior to Piccolo's. It's possible that he could have fully tanked the blast and he only allowed part of him to be destroyed to toy with Vegeta, but we'll never really know. Trunks steps up and Cell confirms that he's not bluffing. He did manage to keep up with Vegeta in his training. However, it is worth noting that this is false confidence on Trunks' part because he's simply ignorant to the pitfalls of the form he's about to use. Ramping it up after another notch, Trunks buffs up and Cell quickly understands what is going on. Meanwhile, Goku is explaining to Gohan the very pitfalls that Trunks' form is about to expose. Cell reveals that he can do it as well, so likely Vegeta could have too. Either way, the form is useless. After Trunks admits defeat, Cell announces the Cell Games, picks an area for his arena, and demonstrates greater control of telekinesis than even Frieza. Goku and Gohan emerge from the time chamber. Piccolo is shocked that is Gohan, and Vegeta is trying to understand how they are in Super Saiyan form, but he can't sense their energy. Goku then basically informs them that he and Gohan no longer need this type of training, as they are far beyond Vegeta now, and rest would benefit them much more. Goku shows the world half his power. Everyone is amazed except Gohan, who thinks twice that it can't be all. When Goku is told he doesn't stack up to Cell, he not only predicted this, but acts nonchalant about it. The Earth's military attempts to kill Cell. Ignorance is no excuse to Cell, so I guess he's the law now, and they just tried to break it. The day of the Cell Games is here, and the biggest conglomerate of Ki the universe has ever seen in one spot gathers before the perfect being. We get some foreshadowing and dramatic irony when Cell threatens to destroy the Earth by blasting Goku at a close distance, but he lures it away and uses instantaneous movement to get behind Cell and deliver a devastating kick. Goku, up in the air and aiming down at Cell, begins charging a Kamehameha of his own. Everyone is besides themselves, coming to terms with if he'd do it or not. Cell really should have seen it coming, though. With the Kamehameha failing, Goku gives some last desperate attempts, accumulating in a key wave spam. Cell is forced to use a barrier, and I would like to note how large it is compared to 17's, and it also has electricity around it. After Goku forfeits, Gohan takes over. When he gathers Ki, Cell's intrigued and wants to make Gohan break. When beating on him doesn't work, he steals the Senzu beans and threatens to kill everyone to get a rise out of Gohan. Then 16 grabs Cell and threatens to detonate. When it is then revealed that Bulma took the bomb out. Of note, it's remarkable that Gero could create a bomb strong enough to destroy Perfect Cell, but then again, all of this is pretty remarkable. After creating Cell Juniors, who seem to be a bit stronger than Vegeta and Trunks, they beat on the gang, and 16 gives Gohan some advice. Then Cell finishes him off by crushing his head. Finally, Gohan breaks. He snaps and goes Super Saiyan 2. This form is obviously in a tier higher, as even after powering up, Gohan can't contain his aura to the point that electricity is constantly surrounding him. After Gohan toys with Cell and knocks 18 out of him, Cell attempts to blow himself up along with the Earth, giving us a reminder that no matter how strong they get, they aren't immune from planetary destruction. Goku teleports himself and Cell to King Kai's planet, where he explodes. Cell survives, and the fact that he does hints that there still isn't any single attack that can take them out without shenanigans, and it's only the fact that they can't breathe in space that does them in. What I mean is, given that imperfect cells survived the explosion, the Super Saiyans likely would have too, as even though they can't regenerate, they are a tier above semi-perfect Cell. This raises even more questions about the bombs in the androids. Cell returns to the battlefield stronger than ever. Was the electricity from him? Did he absorb the ability during his destruction and reconstruction? Perhaps his anger at defeat triggered it. Anyhow, after being injured protecting Vegeta, Gohan gives up, but Goku won't be having any of that and encourages his son to give it his all. We also get the infamous line that with the Kamehameha, Cell can destroy an entire solar system. This implies that the final Flash couldn't, and that perhaps the only thing we've seen on This level thus far is the Genki Dama that used on Frieza. Gohan and Cell clash with a beam struggle, and it seems like it could go either way. Perhaps Gohan is even losing a little, but a little distraction has always been appreciated. 7 years later, the gang decides to enter the Budokai tournament, and what other reason would Goku have to use his 1 day on Earth? Certainly not the birth of his child. That would have been too soon. What? Kids don't work that way? Anyhow, everyone starts training, and it is revealed that Goten, despite only being 7, can go Super Saiyan. It must be a more dominant gene in him, as we're given no good reason why he can do that. He also cannot fly and attempts to learn alongside with Videl. So to Goten, flying comes less naturally than going Super Saiyan, which is very interesting to note because I think flying takes a lot of energy. At the tournament, Trunks gets Goten in a hold, and Goten instinctively goes Super Saiyan when he refuses to give up. Shortly after, we do have someone forfeit, Piccolo to Shin, the Supreme Kai. He refuses to fight him, likely out of respect and for the fact that if he is here, there must be a good reason. Afterwards, Gohan is taunted into showing his true power, and he is immediately attacked by Babidi's mind slaves. A couple things to note here. Supreme Kai is strong enough to hold Gohan at least for a little while, but what's even more interesting to the theme of this video is that Ki, not even Genki, not even just Genki, is being used to revive a being of evil created by magic. Perhaps magic is part of Ki, only utilizing the mind and or spirit or courage. Now, all this energy is to revive Majin Buu, a being with no fear or emotion, only the desire to destroy. At least, that is the Majin Buu the Supreme Kai remembers. We also find out that Bobby's magic is strong enough to take over the King of Hell, friggin' Satan. If we think of him as on the level of the Judeo-Christian Satan, then it makes the power scaling more interesting. However, there's no solid truth here, so it's only a thought experiment. Vegeta's disappointment with his fight might be the real final straw to him turning evil. Not getting to fight Goku, then being disappointed with the fight he does get might have been too much for him. On top of that, he knows that Goku can get Super Saiyan 2 and feels that he himself is incomplete without reverting back to his pure Saiyan pride. So he allows Babidi to take over his mind. Could Guru have given him a similar boost? Is this like the Yang version? Before Vegeta lets Babidi take him over, Rusty Gohan struggles to fight Dabura, and it's worth noting that Dabura uses other breath attacks than just his spit. This may be to throw his opponent off tempo, but nonetheless, Gohan can react to Dabura's spit. However, if it weren't for his glove, he would have been turned to stone. Afterwards, Vegeta breaks away from Babidi's mental persuasion, but keeps the Majin boost. Is the Saiyan's pride stronger than evil, or is it perhaps just Vegeta? At his maximum, Vegeta is implying that Super Saiyan 2 is sort of a plateau, and they have to train just to keep it up to standards. Gohan slacking off implies this as well. Perhaps because it was all premeditated by Vegeta, that is why he was able to overcome the mind control. In a weird way, this power boost was earned by Vegeta. In either case, Vegeta's spiritual balance, his yin and yang, is way off, and he is lying to himself. Deep down, he doesn't want to be this. He loves his family, which we will soon see great evidence of. Vegeta explodes with a concentrated power likely strong enough to destroy the entire solar system. But Boo not only survives the blast, but is able to regenerate in a completely strange way. Since Boo's ki is bottomless, could he theoretically make infinite clones of himself? Or does splitting up take away that bottomless potential? In the realm of the Kais, we are introduced to Dragon Ball's version of Excalibur. Gohan pulled it out via pure strength, though, so was it not some sort of destiny? Perhaps this is a tongue-in-cheek jab at the genre by Toriyama. Meanwhile, Goku is distracting Majin Buu so that the kids can get training in. He shows Buu a glimpse of power that has the potential to defeat him. What's more impressive than the earth shaking is that he is felt in a different dimension. Goku underestimates Buu though, thinking that he shouldn't be able to use the Kamehameha, but later still thinks that if he could conjure all his power at once, that he could defeat Majin Buu, even which, if Kid Buu is stronger, it is entirely possible that Goku could have defeated Fat Buu here. As you will see, Goku put up a good fight against Kid Buu. It's implied that if he didn't have such stamina issues with a living body, he might be able to defeat Kid Buu anyways. Goku arrives on the planet of the Kais and is able to swing the sword and base as well, further proving there is no real destiny to it. He also questions the true purpose of the sword. Surely it can't just be endurance training, right? Nope, not this time. The real secret was that it held the old Supreme Kai inside, and he has an enhanced version of Guru's ability. Meanwhile, after some failed attempts, Trunks and Goten's practice of the fusion dance finally gets perfected, and they get in sync and become Gotenks. This is more emphasis of balance and yin and yang from this arc. Fat Buu expels his evil, then is defeated by it and eaten, causing an evolution in this new evil Buu. Now it's like the balance of good and evil in him has been flipped. Meanwhile, Gohan's training is to sit calmly while the old Kai unleashes Gohan's Super Saiyan potential. However, Gohan snaps at him, and the old Kai tells him to be patient. Did he actually fail at releasing his full potential because of this outburst? Buu had been waiting for Goten and Trunks to finish preparing to fight him, and he mirrors Gohan's impatience. Buu fights childishness square to one Gotenks, who fails to clue Piccolo in on the fact that he has Super Saiyan 3. Getting scared that they can't win, Piccolo destroys the door to the earthly realm, and once Buu finds out there's no candy here in the room of spirit and time, he gets angry enough to scream a hole in the fabric of reality and escape. After failed attempts of replicating his feat, Gotenks goes Super Saiyan 3 and manages to get out via the same fashion as Buu. Yes, I am talking about his pants. Gotenks and Buu fight, and he's doing about as well as Goku was against Fat Buu, able to trade with him. Although he is getting hurt, where Goku was not. There's no indication that this Buu is astronomically stronger, it's more his mindset, but it isn't necessarily stronger in raw ki for any other reason than that. Gohan is finally finished with his potential being unlocked, and it's heavily implied that this is just being able to fully use Super Saiyan 2 without energy drain. There's no indication that it is dramatically stronger than a dead Super Saiyan 3 Goku. They could be in the same tier, as Goku didn't want to win his fight with Fat Buu as he was preparing Gotenks to take over for him. Gohan, with his mojo back, fights Buu and has a clear advantage. Further parallels to Super Saiyan 3 Goku are drawn when Buu says he felt Gohan's power growing in the realm of the Kais. This has all been part of his plan to absorb that power. He may have been holding back against Gotenks to buy time so their fight would stir this distant growing power, not knowing that it was growing to fight him. Buu puts together a plan to absorb Gotenks so he'll have enough power to fight and absorb Gohan. The tables are now reversed as Buu puts Gohan on the edge of defeat with each attack. With Gohan on the back foot, the old Kai reveals one final gambit, the Potara earrings. After Goku receives them, Buu learns the hard way how much of a SOB instantaneous movement is. Gohan gets absorbed, so Goku and Vegeta need to fuse. Vegito is only in base for 4 panels before going directly to Super Saiyan 2. Vegeta gets right to business and dominates Super Buu. The old Kai suggests that Goku and Vegeta were highly compatible because they want to outdo each other so much. We are then treated to the famous Candy Warrior scene, the best example in the series of Ki's ability to overcome magic. After Vegito allows himself to be absorbed, Buu curiously rips off his clothes. Were they not part of him? After the kids are removed from Buu's absorption chambers, Piccolo's clothes reappear. Boo is going through some real psychological turmoil. Boo needs to find himself. Vegeta and Goku will force the self growth and reflection of Boo, or just take it all away so all that's left is his true nature. Goku and Vegeta, psychologists. Unseen by Dr. Goku, Boo's ki is getting bigger. His ki is a soulless ball of pure evil now. Perhaps that is why the Genki Dama only could fully work on him. Goku and Vegeta are confident that they can think up a plan, but there's little time for preparation as instantaneous movement brings Boo to the world of the Kais. The universe is doomed if they don't stop him, so Goku will finally show what he can really do with Super Saiyan 3. Boo isn't losing any ki, but Goku is having the opposite problem. His ki is draining faster than he can use it. Like trying to use it takes more energy than he can concentrate. I think he was only able to learn the form because he was dead, and Gotenks was able because he was in the room of the spirit in time. I like this unique interaction and do not like when Super Saiyan 3 gets handed out to whoever in spin offs. Kid Buu is still unable to kill Hercule, so he spits up what's left of Fat Buu. Buu is at odds with himself again. Fat Buu puts on a fight, but eventually gets overwhelmed by Kid Buu. Something to note is that this is the current Buu, and it may be weaker than the previous version of Fat Buu, even in Super. While Fat Buu is distracting Kid Buu, Vegeta puts together a plan for Goku to use the Genki Dama. Everything in the known universe, aside from some pure evil beings, give their energy. It takes a wish of restoring Goku to full power to be able to push the Genki Dama hard enough into Buu. That's it for the original series. Now all that's left is to briefly touch on some points in Super. First of all, the reason Beerus is so overwhelmingly strong isn't just because of his level of ki, but the fact that Goku can't sense him. Without that, he's unable to guard properly against Beerus. It's like he's fighting blind. It's like the androids all over again. So the only way for Goku to fight against this is to be able to sense God Ki or become overwhelmingly stronger than Beerus. The gap between them might not be as large as some people think. However, this also means, due to the universe warping feat that would have destroyed it, Toei Dragon Ball Z Goku has potentially has universal AP, which does have a fairly reliable narrative if you read between the lines. However, it's possible that he's not quite there and needs the lesson from Gaki to be able to focus his energy properly and use that amount all at once, especially to use it all at once without destroying the universe, which might be the real issue. When Goku absorbs the God Ki into himself, that does not mean that his base is now as strong as Super Saiyan God, nor does it mean his Super Saiyan form is. It only means he can sense and use God Ki, which has its own abilities, like the Hakai. I think people underestimate the nuances of Ki in Dragon Ball. Goku and Vegeta then learn to use God Ki to calm themselves enough while fighting to use Super Saiyan with it. Goku takes this lesson to the next level by adding the Kaioken to it. When Goku uses the Kaioken against Hit, if Frieza wasn't buffering attacks, Goku surely is here, and on a whole different level than Frieza ever was. Jiren surpassing time may only be possible because they were in a void of time. Outside of it, he may still have been bound by some physical laws. Dispo surpassing light may mean that because they were bound by physics, Dragon Ball in terms of speed was capped at light speed, and they were only increasing other aspects of Ki. Being able to concentrate your reaction time, speed, your power, and all of that, it all stacks up. It's also about not wasting energy with your movement so you can fight for longer. It's worth noting that never are the Super Saiyans ever unable to perceive their opponents. The most we get is Piccolo having trouble keeping up with Cell and Goku, but even then he adjusts and is able to follow afterwards. We never get that moment like in previous arcs where they are completely invisible, and it could also be a matter of how long when they are completely invisible to the Super Saiyans, and it could also be a matter of how long they remain moving at such speeds. Whatever the case, it doesn't mean they weren't able to reach light speed as early as Namek, just that we need to think of the properties of ki control differently. And finally, Ultra Instinct is the accumulation of everything Goku has learned. It's like being able to use Blue Kaioken without transforming and wasting no energy. Pure calmness in the heart. Pure calmness in the heart in the heat of battle. Still of heart, body, and mind until the exact instant ki is needed. Thank you for watching.